which was the publisher of the books we used when we were in law school. And I'm glad he's still publishing books today. His name is Francis Benedict Guerra. Very appropriate for humanitarian law. Guerra is war, but Benedict is to be kind and benign. So the rules of war dictate that in waging war and armed conflict, the combatant should be as benign as possible. Kaya maganda yung pangalan ninyo, Franklin Benedict Guerra. I'd like to greet the Associate Dean of the Ateneo College of Law, where I graduated from, Dean Maita Chan Gonzaga, Dean. I'd like to greet my former student, but rose to become Senior Chief Justice, Senior Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Stella Perlas Bernabe, and her darling Attorney Rick Bernabe, the best marathon runner we ever saw. With the possible exception of my daughter, who's also a marathon runner and is here with us. And all the lovers of international humanitarian law, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. I'm happy to be back to my law school where we labored for 4 years under what you are also laboring now. But on the subject of IHL, International Humanitarian Law, I would like to remind you of the movie Bridge Over the River Kwai. Of course, you were not born yet, but this is a movie about the rules of war. It involves prisoners of war who were made to labor by constructing a bridge between Thailand and Rangoon for the Japanese army. And the prisoners of war were under a British commander and an American commander. And the American commander wanted to sabotage the work. And the British commander said that would be against the Geneva Convention. And the American, was William Holden, said, "But sir, you're always citing the Geneva Convention, and we should not obey the Geneva Convention because we are here in the jungles." And he said, "But Captain said, without law, there is no civilization." And William Holden countered, just precisely here in the jungles, there's no civilization, so let's not follow the law. And then Alec Guinness, the British officer, said, then we have the privilege of introducing it. So yun we have the privilege of understanding IHL. If you read the book of Attorney Eddie Carr, Understanding International Humanitarian Law. It could also mean standing under the rules of war. So you have understanding the rules of war so that you can stand under the rules of war. We took special courses on IHL in The Hague, a group of justices from the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals a few years back. And we were surprised to learn that yung pala IHL is not human rights law. It is the law of armed conflict. The rules that govern the conduct of war. That is IHL. And so when I received a complimentary copy of the book which you have to buy, Understanding the Rules of War, I was very happy because I'm teaching this now in the graduate school of San Beda College of Law. In the graduate school of San Beda College of Law, this subject is being taught by Attorney Harry Roque. However, Attorney Harry Roque cannot be found right now. So the Dean, Father Rani Aquino, asked me, Justice Adolf, can you take over the class of Attorney Harry Roque? I said, what subject? Said, international humanitarian law. I said, okay, I have taught that before. I can take over. So I took over. But I found out that they had only one more class remaining. So I asked, did Attorney Roque give you any exam? No, sir. Did he give you any grade? No, sir. Okay, I said, I will give you 5 questions. You answer within 2 weeks. You can take it home. You can research. Open books, no problem. And give me your answer. And here are the questions. I'll see if Attorney Evica can answer.
May recitation to justify.
Number 1. When was the Philippines a party to the Statute of Rome? Madali yan, ha? Sa libro na Evica. Number 2. What, if any, ganon ako magtanong, if any, parang yung sa bar exam. What, if any, are the obligations of a state party under the Statute of Rome after it ceases to be a member? Yeah. If any, ha? Meron yan. Article 127, paragraph 2 of the Statute of Rome is the answer, but I will not go into that. The number 3, maganda. For alleged violations of international humanitarian law during the period when the Philippines was still a member, can the then Philippine President, not naming names, sir, be prosecuted before the International Criminal Court at this time? Explain your answer. Number 4. What is the overarching purpose of IHL? And what and how is it designed to be achieved under the Statute of Rome? How is the Statute of Rome structured to achieve this overarching purpose? And this one, I'm surprised that the book of Evicar contains the answer. What is the Martens Clause and why is it useful in IHL? Meron siyang Martens Clause at bihira ito makita sa IHL book. According to the book of Evicar, the Martens Clause is a principle enunciated by Fyodor Fyodorovich Martens, a Russian scholar who was advising the Hague Convention of the 1899. And it says that in the absence of rules under the codes of war, persons during an armed conflict are still protected when they are non-combatants, are still protected by the rules of the law of nations as used by civilized countries, as well as by the law of humanity and public conscience. That is Martens Clause. In other words, even when there is no rule covering a situation, which happens very often in modern warfare, that does not mean that the combatants are free to do whatever they like. They are still subject to the rules of the law of nations as practiced by civilized nations, as well as the laws of humanity and the rules dictated by public conscience. As stated by another professor, it is summarized as saying that in cases not covered by rules, the combatants are supposed to act with as much humanity as the situation will allow. Act with as much humanity as the situation will allow. So now we see wars in Gaza where apparently all the rules of IHL are violated, flagrantly violated. Does that mean that we are now seeing a world on fire, a world that no longer respects a rule-based order, including a rule-based way of conducting war. I don't think so. As they say, at the end of the conflict, there will be an accounting, there will be an application, the rules. Why? Because the overarching purpose of IHL is to prevent impunity. Impunity means to go without being punished. So if you commit violations of IHL, you commit crimes against humanity or genocide, that does not mean that you'll go scot-free. IHL will see to it that somehow, even if it takes years, justice will be done. There is the principle which we learned in The Hague. We never heard of it. The principle of non-caducity. Alam ba niyo, non-caducity na yan? Non-caducity of offenses under IHL. That means offenses under IHL never prescribed. Never prescribed. So they can be prosecuted at any time. However, if you withdraw from the Statute of Rome, can you still be prosecuted after the withdrawal? That is a very important question which I want Attorney Ebicar to answer for you. Thank you very much. And